All right, you guys. So today we're going to get a look at the Revell First Order Heavy Assault AT-M6 Walker, better known as the Gorilla Walker, the younger brother to the AT-ACT or the AT-AT, which unfortunately I do not have at this scale at the moment. I do have the large scale AT-AT. But getting back to these Revell models here, as you can see, I do have the AT-ACT Revell model that came out last year. I was very, very impressed with that model. It's a very cool model, very articulated, and comes with lights and sounds and all that. So I thought it would be real cool to not only pick up the Gorilla Walker, which will be featured in The Last Jedi coming out in December, but also kind of compare it to last year's AT-ACT model here in this video. So we are going to get a look at that today. Getting a look at the AT-M6 Walker, the box for this particular model here, you can see a very cool image of the AT-M6 Walker. Very cool imagery there at the front. And then, of course, you can see the legs here. There is the light action, which is from the gun. There is sound for this particular vehicle. So I'm very interested to hear what this vehicle is going to sound like. I'm pretty sure it's going to sound very similar to what we just heard from the AT-ACT. So on the side of the box here, guys, as you can see, we got Rey, Finn, and Poe in their poses for this year's promotional artwork for the Last Jedi. And then, of course, on the back of the box, we see the Gorilla Walker here in its many pieces that it comes in. And then, of course, a close-up of the demonstrations that were on the front of the box. And then, of course, at the bottom of the box, guys, as you can see there, they also have the A-Wing that, again, will be featured, the new A-Wing that will be featured in The Last Jedi. And then, of course, we have Kylo's TIE Silencer that is also coming in this Revell model Snaptite kit. So I'm very interested in getting those two. Also, they're offering Poe Dameron's X-Wing, but as you guys can see in the background, or maybe you can't, I actually already have that X-Wing right here. So I won't be purchasing this version of it unless there's some kind of significant difference between this vehicle and the one that's coming out for The Last Jedi. So guys, getting a look at the other side of the box again, we have Rey, Poe, and Finn in their normal promotional poses for this year's The Last Jedi. So guys, we're going to crack this box open, get a look at the contents on the inside, put this thing together, and then do our comparison to the AT-ACT last year's Revell model. All right, you guys, so we got them all together, looking cool, standing next to his older brother. Very, very impressive. I really do like it. And it comes in a darker shade of gray than the AT-ACT that we got last year, as you guys can see there. So I wonder what the weathering is going to be like on this one with the acrylic black paint. As you can see on my AT-ACT, I was able to get a really good weathering on it with my black acrylic paint. I'm hoping to be able to do so here with the Gorilla Walker as well. So let's get a good look at the Gorilla Walker, because that is our feature item here today. So very cool looking machine. I know some people aren't as impressed with it, but I actually do like it. I think it's very cool. You have your side guns here on each side of the head here. You have your two front guns there, and then you have a main laser weapon at the top. So this thing is absolutely fierce, and is most definitely way more loaded as far as weapons are concerned than the AT-ACT. But remember, the AT-ACT is not a combat vehicle. It is actually a cargo vehicle with some weaponry on it. So it's not really a fair comparison between these two because they serve two different purposes. Obviously, this is an assault vehicle, heavy assault vehicle, and it is weaponed to the T. So let's get a look at some of the lights and sounds on this guy. So let's get a listen. So very, very cool. Very similar to the AT-AT and the AT-ATC. However, as you can see, and I'm going to play the AT-ATC and how it sounds. Now, obviously, that was with a little bit of the laser sound in there as well. But there's more of a, and I don't know how to better describe it, but it sounds more like a chain clanking sound as the AT-ACT is walking, which again is very similar to the AT-AT. And how it sounds when it's walking. But with this particular vehicle, I think they've switched it up just a bit where it doesn't sound so much like a chain clanking type of machinery. I think it's a little bit deeper, more of a baritone sound, if you will. Let's get a listen again. Yes. So it's a deeper sound. It's a different sound, not quite as clanky, if you will, as the AT-AT and the AT-ACT. So very cool that they switched it up a bit, but made it very similar. So obviously those were the weapons that were being fired off. Sound like some missiles. So there may be a missile launcher on this thing somewhere. I'm not sure. Again, I have not looked this thing up. Yeah, the difference between the two walkers is in regards to sound effects that they're giving you. The Gorilla Walker gives you a separate sound for laser firing and weapon firing. And then it gives you another sound for the actual walking sound of the vehicle, where on the AT-ACT model that they came out with last year, you get, and it's just one sound effect where you get both lasers and walking sound together in the same sound mix. So a little bit of a difference there. I am actually very, very impressed with this vehicle. Now, as far as articulation is concerned, and I can tell you guys, Revell does a really, really good job with articulation, especially as simple as these things are to put together. And again, I put this together in just under an hour. So a very simple build and very easy, and I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment in putting this thing together. So obviously there is your normal AT, let's say AT-AT articulation, since that's the original here. So you have your normal leg motion with your Gorilla Walker here. Same with the back legs here. They bend just as well, just to keep the vehicle walking in a normal type of state. Now, obviously, with this particular vehicle, with the arms being as they are, and again, there's articulation here as well at the bottom on this thing. So very, very cool addition there. So for our articulation in the head, it's on a ball joint, so he does go up and down a bit side to side, but not a lot. But it is on a ball joint. So it's very cool, very awesome. And then also you have articulation here in the feet as well. Oops, excuse me. So you can adjust the feet as needed. Same as the AT-ACT last year. The very same articulation in all areas. So very cool articulation on these models for such a simple build and model. You get really good articulation on these things. So very, very cool, very, very awesome. Now, what I'm wondering with this vehicle is is this thing going to stand up, kind of, in a gorilla motion? Will it be able to do that? I don't think I'm going to be able to get this thing to stand like that, but perhaps it's possible. Let me see if I can get it to stand. No, it's not going to stand like that. But let's say, and I'm going to have to hold it, guys, because it's not going to stand like that. But let's say for example, that in the film, I'm trying to see how far I can get him standing up where his feet are still touching the ground. So, okay. All right. So we got him there in that position. So let's say, for example, if this thing is able to raise up on its hind legs like a gorilla would, and be able to smash a vehicle of equal size with its front arms, if you will, like a gorilla would be able to stand on its hind legs and basically rip you apart with its arms. So that would be a very, very interesting aspect to this vehicle if it does have that type of capability. So we will have to see once the film comes out. But this thing most definitely gives you that gorilla look, as you can see right there. It's giving you that type of look right there, if you will. So very cool vehicle. I really like it. So in regards to the Gorilla Walker and any negatives that I see with this particular vehicle from Revell, and I'm gonna just nitpick here, guys, because this thing is really, really cool, and I absolutely love it. I would give it a 10 out of 10, regardless of the little nitpick that I'm gonna have with this thing here. But the one nitpick that I do have here, guys, if you look the arms of this thing, this particular piece, and it could be just my particular model, a bit of a defect there, but there's a little spacing there between the arms, especially when you bend them back and forth. So that is just a bit of a nitpick there. As you can see, as I move that one, you can see there's more separation as I move it. So the pegs that go inside of here to keep the legs together, it's a longer peg than let's say the peg that's for these legs here. So I think it's just a bit of a flaw in the engineering there, where movement allows for separation, a bit of a separation there in the leg. So if there was a nitpick for this particular item, that most definitely is going to be mine. Getting a look at all of the detail on this vehicle, guys, right there in the head area, just very, very impressive. I actually wasn't too impressed with this vehicle until picking this thing up, but now getting a close look at this thing, I am excited to see what this is going to do and what it's going to look like in the film. So I can tell you I'm thoroughly impressed. The Gorilla Walker here from Revell, absolutely awesome vehicle, guys. If you get an opportunity, I would suggest that you go pick one up, just so you can get a close-up look at this thing and what the possibilities are in the film. I didn't even think about this thing raising up on its hind legs and using its front arms to pulverize something, because you got to think there's got to be a purpose for these arms to be the way that they are, not just for walking. And what would be the purpose of putting this vehicle in a gorilla style design unless it was going to do gorilla style combat moves? So I think we're going to be in store for some really good action with these things once we see them on film. So guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you. always.